The New York Knicks are expected to call the Memphis Grizzlies and try to hammer out a trade for Jaren Jackson Jr. We're going to break that down on today's show. But first, make sure you are subscribed to the channel because the Knicks make a move, we make a video. And producer Smitty, who is now the host of Boston Celtics Today here at Chat Sports, I want to bury him in a June subscriber battle. So if you want free videos every day on the Knicks, you hate the Celtics, and you want to say F you to Tyler Smith, hit that sub button right now. Welcome into New York Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am Marshall Green. Let's talk about a Jaren Jackson Jr. trade. Chris Persian and of ClutchPoints, shout out to him, an awesome article he put out a couple of days ago, pretty much saying the Knicks are expected to call the Memphis Grizzlies about a potential Triple J trade. And the rumors around Jaren Jackson as well as Ja Morant started to heat up after the Grizzlies traded Desmond Bane to the Orlando Magic. Brian Windhorst saying, what does this mean for the Grizzlies following the Bane trade? This is a rebuild trade, he said. The next question is, what about Ja Morant and what about Jaren Jackson Jr.? And look, if Jackson Jr. is on the block, I absolutely do think the Knicks should call. And according to Chris Persian of ClutchPoints, he thinks that they will. He said this: sources familiar with the situation tell ClutchPoints that at least one key member of the Knicks front office has long been interested in Jackson Jr. as a trade target. The Knicks' acquisition of Karl Anthony Towns last offseason didn't nullify this interest either. Leak sources say that a Jackson Jr. and Karl Anthony Towns front court would be a dream pairing for New York in their starting lineup. And to be honest with you, I would love the pickup of Triple J. I've been a fan of his for quite some time. I think he's gotten drastically better every single year, and he continues to add key parts to his game. And a guy like Karl Anthony Towns at center, who isn't the best defender, I think a guy in Jaren Jackson Jr., who was once a Defensive Player of the Year, next to him at the 4, like the Knicks believe, would be a dream pairing. And like the Knicks always do, they think a couple steps ahead. And if you follow the breadcrumbs, it seems like they may have been plotting on a Triple J trade. They hired his dad, Jaren Jackson Sr., to be a Westchester Knicks assistant coach back in 2021. Also, he's a part of the Mafia. Jaren Jackson Jr. is a former CAA client of Leon Rose, still a part of the Mafia as well, as he is now repped by Austin Brown. So the Knicks, they gave his dad a job to be a part of the coaching staff for the G League team. Now, why would they do that? Well, because maybe they are interested in pursuing the 25-year-old big man for Memphis. 6'11", 242 pounds. I don't feel like he always plays up to his size at 6'11", 242. Not the best rebounder in the world. I think we saw that when he was a part of Team USA. That is a little bit of a worry for me. I feel like the Knicks may take a step back on the boards. But trading for him, one, it keeps your window open a little bit longer. Still just 25 years old. When I saw that today, I was a little bit shocked about that. Entered the league at 18 years old. But it gives you, in my opinion, another elite defensive player on this team. The guy averaged 1.5 blocks this past year, 1.2 steals. 1.6 blocks the year before that, 1.2 steals. 3 blocks per game in 2022, 2023, a steal there. And what I like about him is he is dependable. 74 games played this last year, 66 the year before that, 63 the year before that, and 78 the year before that. But as you see, the rebounds are not really what you expect from a power forward, never averaging more than 7 rebounds over the last 4 years. He was 5th in Defensive Player of the Year voting in 2021-2022. He was also named as a first-team All-Defense guy that year. In the very next year, he won the Defensive Player of the Year and once again was a first-team All-Defensive guy in that. And then if you had him next to a guy like OG Anunoby, you would have 2 of the better defensive players in the league. We know he's special on defense. I think he continues to grow as an offensive player as well, averaging 22.2 points per game this year, shooting 48% from the field and 37.5% from 3. I didn't watch a lot of Grizzlies games this year, But when I did, I always felt like Jaren Jackson had the opportunity to carry that team offensively. This year, he had 12 games of 30-plus points. He had a 40-point game, and he shot 38% from three on 5.3 attempts. So you add an all-world defender and a guy who is just scratching the surface of what he can be on the offensive end as he grows as a three-point scorer. He's also showed you this past year he could score inside the arc as well. There's really not a spot on the floor that he doesn't like to operate from. Above the break threes, he shot 37.7%. That's 2.4% higher than league average. He also shot 41% from the left corner, higher than league average, and he shot 37.5% from the right corner, just below league average. He's great in the mid-range, shooting 45.9% there, almost 5 percentage points better than league average. He was good around the rim, and he was good inside the paint. He could score off the bounce, he could score off the catch, and he continues to get better and better when it comes to attacking the rim. I think the pairing of him with Karl Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson as a big three, if that term really still applies, with still OG Anunoby, you would have one of the better top fours in the NBA. Coming up next, I got to tell you guys about our new proud sponsor of today's show. And then I'm going to get to some Jaren Jackson trade ideas. I got to give a major shout out to a brand new sponsor here on Knicks Now by Chat Sports, and that is Ridge. And our listeners are going to get 10% off if you go to ridge.com/chat, and you can use that to get the best wallet in the game. It's slim, it's sleek, and it's a lot smaller than my old wallet. It fits better in the pocket, and it holds the cards in an awesome way. It's something that I've been looking for a while. I used to have a really old crusty wallet, and it was disgusting. And when I would pull it out at a restaurant or a bar, I would honestly feel a little bit embarrassed. But now with Ridge, I feel good there, and so do others, as it has over 100,000 5-star reviews. Also, over in 50-plus colors and styles to choose from. I also love the fact that you can't lose it because there's a spot on the wallet for an AirTag attachment. So if you're like me and you lose your wallet all the time, get hooked up with Ridge. Also, there's more products with Ridge. It isn't just about wallets. They create premium, everyday carry essentials like key cases, suitcases, and rings, all built with the same sleek, durable design. And for a limited time, our listeners get 10% off at ridge.com/chat, or just go to ridge.com and use that promo code chat. Just head to ridge.com and use code chat, and you're all set. After you purchase, they will ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them Knicks Now by Chat Sports sent you. Made with premium materials like aluminum, titanium, and carbon fiber. So if you're looking for a new wallet that's sleek, durable, and it's not going to be all bulky in your pockets all summer long, go to ridge.com and use that promo code chat for 10% off today. All righty, some Jaren Jackson trade ideas. We'll talk about that in a second. But as we know with the new CBA, if you're going to talk trades, you got to talk money. And Jaren Jackson is in the final year of a 4-year extension where he is going to be paid $23.4 million. So if the Knicks want to trade for Jackson, they got to send out about $23.4 million. And when you look at the New York Knicks cap sheet in the 2025-2026 season, you're looking at a guy like Mikal Bridges as someone that could be the one going out, as Bridges this next year is going to make $24 million. Maybe you could set a guy like Josh Hart and somebody on top of that as he makes $19.4 million. But I don't anticipate Karl Anthony Towns being in that trade. I don't anticipate OG Anunoby being in that trade at $39.5 million. Mitchell Robinson making $12.9 could be a part of that. We know the Memphis Grizzlies grit and grind would really, I feel like, embrace a player like Mitchell Robinson. But I go back to just looking at a Mikal Bridges trade as he's going to make $24 million, and Jaren Jackson is also making right around that same exact money. Both those guys are extension eligible, and they are going to be free agents this time next year. And with the Memphis Grizzlies trading Desmond Bane, they're looking for a backcourt guy to put next to Ja Morant. And I think Bridges would actually be a good fit next to Ja I do think, though, that a Bridges for Jaren Jackson Jr. swap would be great for the Knicks. I'm not sure that the Memphis Grizzlies would love that return. I think they would want a little bit more coming back to them, whether that's draft capital or somebody else on this roster. And I don't necessarily think it's a horrible idea to add more. I'd like for it to just be Bridges for Jaren straight up, but that's probably not the way it's going to work. Chris Persianen of ClutchPoints included this picture in his article, and I've linked the full article in the description of today's show. So go read that. Go support him. The article was awesome, and he's got some awesome in-depth info. Shout out to his sources. He put this trade together. The Knicks acquire Jaren Jackson Jr., John Konchar, and Vince Williams Jr., while sending Mikal Bridges and Mitchell Robinson to Memphis. Also, 3 second-round picks going to Memphis, and the Knicks trading that first-round pick that they own via the Washington Wizards, which I think is top 10 or top 8 protected at this point. So who is Konchar and who is Vince Williams Jr.? Two players that really haven't done too much in the NBA. Williams has shown the ability to score the ball, but he's not really all that efficient. He can't shoot it all that well. And Konchar hasn't played all that much, averaging just 2.4 points per game this past year. Both these guys could continue to get better in the NBA, but it's really just a salary cap move for them to make it happen, as Konchar makes $6.1 million and Vince Williams makes $2.3. So your potential starting five could look somewhat like this: Jalen Brunson, Miles McBride, OG Anunoby, Triple J, and Karl Anthony Towns. I guess you could start Josh Hart at the 2 if you wanted to, but I like the idea of another shooter and another defender. And what I like about this lineup is you got a Depoy and Jaren on your team. OG Anunoby, we know how special he is on the defensive side of the floor, and Miles McBride is a good defender as well. So you got 3 really good defenders around Brunson and Towns, and all 3 of those defenders can shoot the ball well from 3. OG needs to do it a little bit better in the playoffs. So I'll ask you, would you make this trade where you send Robinson, Bridges, and picks to Memphis, and you get back Jaren Jackson Jr., Konchar, and Vince Williams Jr.? Let me know. Type A for accept, type D for decline. I don't hate this idea as a trade. I'd like to see what else is out there before I say accept, but I lean more towards accept than decline. Is Mikal Bridges going to sign a contract extension to stay here? Is Mikal Bridges going to take a discount to stay here? I don't think necessarily that Jaren Jackson Jr. will, but I think he's a little bit more deserving of the money that he's going to ask for than Bridges. And I like Bridges. I just don't love what he did in his first year, despite having some really big moments. And the Knicks don't beat the Boston Celtics unless they do. I'm still not sure, though, if that is a title team. I like the idea of Brunson, McBride, Anunoby, Jackson Jr., and Towns. Off the bench, you got Kolek, you got Dottier, and you got Huckport. You still have Josh Hart coming off the bench. You'd have that taxpayer mid-level exception. You could sign a couple of veteran minimum guys. I don't think that team is worse. I just think and wonder if they would be able to win an NBA title. The team feels small as well. Towns, 6'11", 7 foot, solid rebounder. I wouldn't say that he's anyone that dominates the glass. Jaren Jackson Jr., we know, doesn't dominate the glass. You're only big off the bench at that point would be Huckport. Maybe you look to go add somebody else. There would still be moves needed to be made, in my opinion, for that starting five to win it all, just like I think there's moves to be made if the Knicks run it back this year. Look, and I don't mind selling high on a guy like Mitchell Robinson. I like Mitch. He proved me wrong in the offseason. I'm a fan of his. Like, he is a lunch pail guy. He works hard. He's got a unique skill set. But I'm not sure his value is ever going to be higher. The injury history worries me. He's really a non-factor when it comes to putting the ball in the bucket. And I don't mind selling high on him, as I think his stock may be at an all-time high after a great postseason run. I'll just say this. Whether it is the Jaren Jackson Jr. trade, which I would be a fan of, firing Tom Thibodeau cannot be the only championship move that Leon Rose makes this summer. Leon told everybody, we are singularly focused on winning a championship. And if the only move you're going to make this offseason is to fire Tom Thibodeau, you're lying. Because that would say that Tibbs is the only reason you didn't win the finals. I think even the biggest Tom Thibodeau hater would agree that the Knicks lost in the playoffs for more reasons than just tips. I think a move is coming. I think a big move is coming. I don't know what it is at this point, but as soon as I get any information, we'll break it down on this channel. So subscribe, turn those notifications on, and follow me on social media. That's the first spot you'll hear about it. So if you could, hit me up on Twitter and hit me up on Instagram.